Most defence experts oppose bombing Iran's nuclear facilities. A poll of the defence and security community has found a majority believe sanctions would be the best way to encourage the country to halt its nuclear programme. The survey by the Royal United Services Institute also concludes Al-Qaeda has grown weaker. Earlier, I spoke to Shashank Joshi, a research fellow from RUSI, and asked him about the attitudes towards Iran.
What's striking is that there is such opposition, really under any circumstances, for British participation in a military effort. And it would seem that given the government's focus on having a credible military threat against Iran, on taking no options off the table, there would be slightly more backing for this stick to be wielded against Iran. But actually, I think the surprising thing here is how high that opposition figure actually is.
And what do you make of the much broader support for covert activities, including 77% backing a cyber attack?
The famous Stuxnet virus in 2010 eliminated about a fifth of Iran's centrifuge capacity. It was incredibly effective, not a single life put at risk, no Iranian lives lost, and it was probably relatively cheap compared to any military action. So I think this vast support you have for covert means reflects the sort of the sterility, the cleanliness, but also the cost-effectiveness of such means.
And in terms of the threat posed by Al-Qaeda, a shift away from that in the respondents, is that to be expected, do you think?
Well, there's an interesting ambiguity here. There is a clear sense that Al-Qaeda has declined in significance, and I think that comes out of the killing of Osama bin Laden and the fact that the operations of Al-Qaeda Central, sitting in northwest Pakistan, have been put under so much pressure by drone strikes and operations in Afghanistan. But there's also a recognition that the Islamist threat to the United States has increased, and I think that's recognition of the fact that Al-Qaeda affiliates and franchises in places like Yemen, as well as other jihadist groups separate to Al-Qaeda, like Ansar al-Sharia in Libya that mounted the operation against the Libyan consulate a month ago, have actually grown in strength. So there's actually an interesting subtlety there about the threat posed by terrorist groups.